even when we were sending the film to the festival, me and my DOP were sitting on the bed and we made a video. जब rejection का mail आएगा, we'll be laughing at this video, okay? Because we had no expectations at all, very honestly. I was roaming around near a hospital, okay? And everybody from my crew has gone back to the hotel. And I'm just walking around crying, okay? I'm calling up my dad and I'm like, Papa. And I walk up to the hotel and they're like, "Tu theek hai? What happened? I'm like, kya hua? And apparently people had told my crew that kisi ki death ho gayi hai. Pratham's crying under the hospital. What has happened? You guys should go. Like, nothing has happened. It's quite the opposite actually.
Happy news.
It's happy news.
Pratham, it's so wonderful to have you on Film Companion.
Thank you, ma'am.
I wish we were doing this interview in Cannes.
Yes.
I wish we were on the French Riviera with that sea behind us. Sadly,
Yes.
we are in the Film Companion office in Bandra.
That's great too.
Thank you. That's very generous of you. Doesn't quite compare. But congratulations on having your film Nauha being selected for the Cinef Foundation section at Cannes. You know, I read it was selected out of over 1,500 movies that have been sent there from film schools around the world.
Okay.
And you, as a student of Whistling Woods, this is your thesis film and it gets selected. I want to know, like, that moment when that email came.
Yeah.
That said to you that you are officially selected in Cannes.
Yeah.
What did you do and what were the next few hours like?
It was, I'm a Bollywood child, honestly.
Really?
Very honestly. And that is why when that email came, the situation was very dramatic. I was shooting in Kashmir and it was just one of those off days and we were shopping around for Pahalgam, buying snow boots and everything. And suddenly I get an email on my phone asking if, from the artistic director of the festival, asking two questions, if the film was my final project and some other question. And I didn't exactly know what that meant. And I'm like, should I be expecting anything? What does this email exactly mean? And I replied to that email and I called my team. I video called them. And my producer is like, "Tu tension mat, kuch nahi, it's nothing, don't expect. And he's trying to just calm me down and everything. And 5 minutes later, I get another email confirming that the film is an official selection at the festival. And I couldn't control. I think I just bursted out in tears. And I was roaming around near
in Srinagar.
In Kashmir, yes, in Srinagar. And I was roaming around near a hospital, okay? And everybody from my crew has gone back to the hotel. And I'm just walking around crying, okay? I'm calling up my dad and I'm like, Papa. And suddenly, 1 hour later, after talking to my dad and telling some of my close friends, I walk up to the hotel and they're like, "Tu theek hai? What happened? I'm like, kya hua? And apparently people had told my crew that kisi ki death ho gayi hai. Pratham's crying under the hospital. What has happened? You guys should go. Like, nothing has happened. It's quite the opposite actually.
Happy news.
It's happy news. Yeah, so that was very surreal. But very honestly, I don't think till date I've managed to digest that fact, very honestly.
Well, you're going to be there soon.
Yeah, maybe then I'll digest it.
Now, Nauha means lamenting or mourning.
Yes.
And this film is about the relationship between a young man who's a caretaker and an old ailing man who he looks after. Where did this idea come from?
So, first of all, I think it started on death. It's something that has always intrigued me very honestly as a child. And I never could point out my questions, what questions I had about death, but it was always an area that I wanted to explore more. And right before I was starting to write, what our thesis film is going to be about, I kind of had a hint that I wanted to make something on death, because one day one of my friends came up to me and they were like, सब तेरी movies में मरते क्यों रहते हैं? Why does everybody keep dying in your films? Because all of the short films that I had made in college. And that is why when I realized that is something that is not being solved personally. Because at the end of the day, very honestly, I think, at least till now, I'm still a learner, but what I figured out is I make films to kind of solve myself in a way, and
to discover more about yourself.
Yes. So when that was pointed out by one of my friends, that is when I understood that abhi I have to make something on it to let it go off my system. Now it needs to go away. It's been I've been stuck on it for too long, and then I think personally also I got more aware of how it's affecting my personal life. So that is when I knew I wanted to make something on death. And around that time, unfortunately, one of my very close friends' father was not doing very well in the hospital, so I had to rush back to Delhi, and I took care of him. And I took care of him for 3 days. He was on ventilator, and that is when I kind of solved half of my personal kind of questions on death, if that makes sense, because I lost my mother when I was 13. So the question of not being able to help her in that sense, because I was a child back then, and I had this angst of why my family wouldn't let me stay over at the hospital during the night. Now when I look at it, I wouldn't want my 13-year-old child to do that to my wife. But back then it was all angst. And when I went to take care of my friend's father, I think somewhere around that time I completed half of my angst there. And I knew what was it about death that was bothering me. And I just came back, I spoke to my co-writer, Lavina, and we sat on it. And I think from there the characters grew. And we detached from that story. Initially we were just making it purely between me and my best friend Amit, best friend's father. But I think when me and my co-writer started writing on it, we kind of detached the characters. We worked on it for long. So it became a story of itself, but the core I feel remained the same. Having said that, I don't think honestly I'm done with death. Very honestly.
There'll be more.
There'll be more. I think there will be more, yeah.
You know what I liked about the film was it's of course very sad. It is very somber, but you still put in like little fleeting moments of humor, like when the old man is being given a bath, when he's behaving like this 5-year-old. And I was just wondering, of course Uday Chandra is just wonderful in that role. What was it like for you to direct him? I mean, he's someone who's been around for decades.
Yes, he's been around for so many years, and for the lack of a better word, I feel it's a shame that not many people know about.
He's a fantastic actor.
What he can do, and he was suggested to me by one of my faculties in college who had worked with him earlier. And very frankly, we were looking, because also this was shot during the pandemic when the rules of shooting were kind of, because you weren't supposed to cast someone of a particular age, above a particular age. So you're kind of stressed about that. We were looking for people, who could act well. And my treatment, I just wanted, very honestly, I just wanted one thing: someone who can hold the frame. Nothing else. I think all of that can be handled through conversations, through rehearsals, whatever. And one of his films, I saw one of his films, Sandhya, I think it was called, another short film, and I could see that he holds it pretty well, and I wanted to, talk to him. And I remember I called him up. He was, I think, shooting for some other project, and I called him up and I sent him the script, and he calls me back at the night, and he's talking to me, and he's understood the script perfectly. It's like, because I love narrations, I kind of get tensed if I have not narrated it to even the junior most AD, for example, and I'm like, suddenly I can't narrate. And so he understood the script so perfectly, and I was like, I have to cast him. And then he's like, on the same call, he's like, it's so beautiful what you've written, but I don't think I can do it.
Why?
And I'm like, why? And he's like, I think it's, I would hate to be in a space like that, where someone else is cleaning me, taking care of me. I'd rather jump off a cliff. And I got really scared. I said, I'm really sorry, sir, if that pushed you in any direction that you didn't want to be in. Like, no, that's completely fine, but I hope you understand. I'm like, yeah, that's completely fine. And I sleep tensed, and I'm like, okay, I have to wake up tomorrow, find another actor, do something. And I wake up with this call in the morning, and he's like, I've been thinking about it the whole night, so I'd rather just do it and get it off my chest.
How lovely.
And that is how, and we met one day before the shoot, and then on shoot. And it was genuinely magical with him on set. I can't use any other word, I feel, because he was just on set, just being, very honestly, just being. Not even, because he didn't rehearse at all, okay? Not even once before the shot he ever came to me, or did I ever go to him talking about what he had to do. We would call him, we would be like, sir, shot ready ho raha hai 15 minutes mein. Whenever you're ready, just come. And he would come right there and then. He wouldn't wait for 15 minutes. He would come while the camera is being set up, and he would play around with the sunlight, with the net on the bed that we used. He would just do that for 15 minutes. In fact, the last shot of the film was me and my DOP figuring out what shot to take next. Okay, and the camera's here, and my AD had called him on the to sit on the bed, and he's sitting, and I'm talking to my DOP Nikhil, and we're like, "Haan, shot idhar se lete," and all of that. And suddenly I look at him, and he's playing around, you know, with that net, and he's just looking at the sun rays. I'm like, Nikhil, sabko hata, let's take this shot. And the camera is just there. Nikhil presses the button. Sir didn't even know that we were rolling at that time. In fact, when he saw the film, that is when he's like, "Wo kab liya tum logon ne?"
These are the happy accidents. No?
Yes, and that is what happens when you have magic on set, and he's genuinely magic in a human form.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are your expectations from Cannes? You know, what do you most want to get out of this opportunity?
Very honestly, even when we were sending the film to the festival, me and my DOP were sitting on the bed, and we made a video sending ke jab rejection ka mail aayega, we'll be laughing at this video, okay? Because we had no expectations at all. Very honestly, it's a festival that I was introduced in the past 3 years to when I joined the college. I don't watch much of world cinema, very honestly. But this is a festival that kind of, you know, I started watching the films, and it had a particular place in my mind. So it is happening too fast, honestly, for me to figure out anything. But what I do know, that I've kind of come here to make more stuff, and there is very less of other things that I would want. So Cannes for me primarily will be, I think, funding for my next film.
Good for you. What can you tell us about that before we let you go? You are writing it.
Yes.
What are you doing now? Like post Cannes, what's the plan?
So I'm just going to, in fact, we're kind of planning to write it with the guy who plays Kishan in Nauha. He also writes. So we're co-writing, and it's set in the valley of Himachal.
This is a feature.
This is a feature, which actually came in my mind before Nauha also, 3 years ago. And so I really want to like properly get it out. And so I'm currently working initially without my co-writer right now. And when I come back from Cannes, I think we'll finish the drafts, and hopefully in another year we'll be shooting it. I hope to do that, yes.
Nice. Wonderful. Pratham, have a wonderful time in Cannes, and again, I wish we could have sat there,
Yes.
but our dates didn't cross, and it was just so lovely to meet you.
Same here.
Well done again,
Thank you.
and good luck.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.